And now, Move the Sticks with Daniel Jeremiah and Bucky Brooks.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Move the Sticks. DJ Buck with you. Buck, how we doing?
Man, we're good, DJ. I mean, obviously, it's not a weird time. It's a slow time of year when it comes to football, but it's the last time in terms of getting your vacations because, DJ, literally, once we hit that designated date, 4th of July, it's over. Football comes in a hurry. You think about training camps happening at the end of July. It seems like we have a long time, but football is really on the horizon.
No, it's coming. I was going to ask you a couple basketball things before we get into some of the football stuff we're going to hit on today. I don't know if you ever have this. Like, if you see somebody, I'll just explain it to you this way. So this is what happened. So we see the injury, right? We see Halliburton, Achilles. So I did my Achilles maybe 8 to 10 years ago, tore my Achilles. So during this time of year, it's nice out. I like to run. So I, get my runs in. So Buck, now I'm just like, I don't know, man. My Achilles feels kind of weird, but I don't know if this is the placebo thing or something where I just like that's in my head because I just saw this guy, but I'm scared to death. I'm like, I think I got to walk. I'm gonna walk for maybe a week. Let this kind of calm down a little bit.
Yeah, I am worried. Like it's funny, DJ, and maybe it's just because there's more attention on injuries. You think about in basketball, 3 prominent stars having Achilles. You talk about Jason Tatum, Dame Lillard, and then Halliburton. Man, I just think about in the NFL, we've heard that injury pop up more than ever. And DJ, I remember like doing the scouting process. I can't even remember.
We thought it was a death sentence. Like you're like, oh my God, his career is over.
Like a rare thing. And then we would have some scouting buddies that would pop an Achilles playing racquetball or any of those things. And so it's always been a thing that I was scared to death of. So look, man, you talk about that PTSD and you have certainly bounced back from it, but it's one of those things I'm like petrified of it. Like, man, that is a miserable.
The sad thing is, this is what sucks about getting older. If you're a little bit older, listen to this, like at 47, like there's a difference between competition and exercise. And I have to remind myself the competition over. Those days are over. We're in the exercise portion right now, because what happens is I'll run and I'll post it on the family group chat. And then my son, he's off. He's got an internship in Nashville for the summer, and he'll be like, "Oh, I'm gonna beat that time today." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, you gonna beat that time? Okay, let's see. Okay, I can go faster. I can get a little bit more on this 5K that I'm busting out or whatever." And then I realized, like, no. I'm on the Peloton treadmill. I need the 5-minute warm up with that guy, just kind of getting me. I need a full song where I'm just kind of getting the blood flowing. I don't need to hit the treadmill and go. Like I don't need that anymore. The competition days are over.
Good thing for you, because I've relegated old man status where walks around the neighborhood, little yoga, maybe the bike every now and then.
Yeah,
that's where we're officially on the other side. Like there's no competing. There's no whatever.
I'll be honest with you. My daughter goes to Pilates class, and I'm like, maybe I should give that a run. And I'm like, hey, any guys in that class? She goes, no, Dad, no.
Well, because the Pilates, you're dealing with the reformer. Like I'm sure she's doing regular Pilates, not mat Pilates. You're dealing with reformer. However,
I'm like, core.
If you go to a yoga class, we can get you some fine yoga classes down there in San Diego. Like, you see some guys.
Okay,
there'd be some bros in there. You can hang out.
I don't know why Pilates just sounded cooler to me than yoga, but then
it's all the core stuff. It's all the the reformer, the stretch out.
Can it help my golf swing? That's all I'm looking for. But I'm just looking for a little more movement and a little better performance.
How is the golf swing?
I've been playing a good bit. So like I'm gonna say that I played like 2 days a week for the last couple weeks, and I'll tell you what, the good has gotten good. Okay. I got to eliminate the bad, man. The bad is still really bad.
Negative plays.
Negative shots, but there's fewer of them, but it doesn't take many to torpedo you in terms of what you're trying to accomplish. But I have an amazing ability when I get in the car afterwards to divorce myself from those bad shots and just on the drive home, think about the wonderful shots you hit. It is a fun. I love it. I've fallen in love with the game, man. And you see like Saquon Barkley's into it. Like, Josh, a lot of these guys in the offseason are getting into it. And I never really got the golf thing till a few years ago. And it's kind of like it's just get a little bit good. Not good, just a little bit good.
Enough where you can go and do stuff. I've always said that. I just like to get the call every now and then, do some of those charity golf tournaments, be able to go away, get a little trip,
Yeah, get
vacation.
a little swag, get out there. It's nice to be outside. So much of our job, we're indoors with the work that we do and then watching tape and all that stuff. So I just love I love being outside and doing that. I did hit a house pretty hard yesterday, I'm not gonna lie. When it went and Buck, I'm not talking about the fairway hugger house. I'm talking about across the street from that house. It climbed. Like I looked at it, I was like, "Ooh, I got that good. I got that good." And that is on this line, and I needed to be on that line. And I'm like, it is going towards that house right on the fairway, and this is going to do some damage. And then that thing, like a freaking F-16, took off and went over those houses. And I was like, "Huh, I wonder what's behind that." Well, trust me, the way I heard it, there's another house back there. And it was like I just don't need to hear that. I don't want to hear that glass sound. So I didn't hear the glass sound.
Okay.
And then I quickly advanced to the next hole.
Okay, here we go. Gotta go.
That's why I play in the afternoon, Buck. I can't be playing early in the morning. There's liable to be some folks home. They could come out. You hit that house at 1:20 in the afternoon. Good folks are at work. You're fine.
Oh my God.
So there's your update on my golf game. So one we're going off the rails. One other basketball thing I want to hit before we get to our football. The draft, NBA draft was last night. I tweeted out, Buck, every year I want to get into it. I'm excited about it. And I'm like, I love the draft. The draft in general, whatever sport it is, I get into it. It doesn't work, man. Like the NBA draft just doesn't work. It's so flat. Like the arena is mostly just kind of like players and families. You could hear a pin drop in there. There's no energy in the building. Everything just falls totally flat. So I don't know if you watched it, if you saw it the same. And then I've got at least one idea I think that can help them out.
Yeah, I watched it. There are a few different things that make it tough. And I know we are deeply entrenched in the football world. So we know all the names that pop up on our draft. It's just a little different. I would just say that it is just so apparent in our country that football is king. There's just an excitement about the game. And I think part of the excitement around the draft is not only all the draft nicks kind of playing the guessing game when it comes to mock drafts. DJ, I think there's such an excitement, or we're clamoring for football so much that we're just excited to see B-roll of highlights. Yeah. I think that's a big part of the draft. We get to see a 3-minute run of just football highlights that kind of whets our appetite for the game it is. The other part is, I think the names, it's just easier for us to kind of follow the names. And this isn't necessarily basketball's fault, but with one and dones and the international flavor where the players coming from outside of the borders coming over, we're just not familiar with them. So you haven't seen them. And so you talked about it. Once they got to like pick 9 or 10, hey man, I don't know who this is. I'm watching, I'm just not familiar. And I felt like I watched a ton of college basketball last year. But DJ, there were some names. I was like, man, I don't know who this is. And like, he played at Illinois, but I watched Illinois, but I don't remember. Like, it's bad.
So I wrote down, I like to use like a format alliteration and things to try and give you a little game plan. So here's my 3 free thoughts to the NBA to make this thing a little bit better. And they're the 3 T's, Buck, the 3 T's. You ready? First of all, the timeline. We got to stretch this thing out, guys. Like, we can't have this thing come a couple days after the finals. Like, what are we doing? Like, there's no separation. You're asking your talent. I feel bad for them, to be honest. Like, you're asking them to be in the NBA final world, like locked in. And all of a sudden, 48 hours later, oh, yeah, jump on here and know these players inside and out and talk about them properly. That doesn't work, man. Like, the NFL has mastered spacing. Like, they space the calendar out. You always got something to look forward to. There's a little bit of buildup. There's no buildup to this thing. Like, it was all of a sudden the season's over. Whoa, the draft is here. Like, they needed some runway for that to happen. So that's my first. So the first T's timeline. Second T, let's make it a bigger event in terms of what's around it. Let's put like a tournament together. Let's have all these upcoming high schoolers that are going to be a year away from being in the draft. Like, let's have the McDonald's All-American game or whatever you're doing. Let's have that take place during this week, 2 days before, so we can talk about, this is kind of a look ahead to what this is going to look like next year. These are the top kids, and you can even have kind of youth tournaments, bring in a bunch of people into the city where you're having the draft. Guess what? All those people, they get free tickets to come inside an arena so we can pack an arena out with some energy.
It is some energy.
That's the second one. There's no energy. So then the last one was, was the tickets. So yeah, so it's like you got the timeline, you got the tournament, and you got tickets. Like, I don't care if they're free. It should be free. We got to get more people and more energy in the building. So timeline, tournament, tickets. Those are my 3 ideas.
DJ, I am with you in terms of football has done a great job of creating these tentpole events where they are mini football festivals. So the draft last year in Green Bay was a bit of a festival. Anyone that was there around it, they talked about the week-long celebration of football in Wisconsin. And it's been like that since the NFL decided to move it out of New York and kind of put it on the road. The NBA has to find a way to create an excitement and a buzz around their draft. And the next generation of stars, whether you talk about having a showcase for the generation that's about to go into college, whatever that is, but it has to be something that's bigger than just a draft. And I'll say this because I do believe the NBA gets Summer League right.
Summer League's great. Summer League's great.
There's an excitement around Summer League when it finally hits Vegas and those things, but they have to find a way to create the buzz and the energy and not only energizing the fans, but I feel like they got to energize the talent. You know what I'm saying? Like it has to be like an energy about, hey guys, this is the next generation of guys, and here's why you need to tune in because these guys are great, fabulous, or whatever we're going to talk about.
Yeah, well, they put the talent in a bad spot, man. You can't ask them to do what they're doing at the finals and then turn around and do this thing 2 days later. That's stupid.
Hard.
But I like your idea of Vegas. Maybe we combine that and just say, hey, every year, the NFL used to do the draft in Radio City Music Hall before, it blew up. We took it on the road. Right now, where the NBA is, they should say, hey, Vegas is kind of our adopted off-season home. It's where we do this summer league. So why don't you just then let's have the big tournament in Vegas. Let's have a McDonald's All-American game, whatever, all that stuff going on there. Youth tournaments, bring everybody into Vegas for this week, do all that. Bam. Then we have the draft. And guess what? We start summer league,
shortly thereafter,
next Monday. Yeah. And it's like Vegas just becomes your off-season home. So do that.
I mean,
let's have the draft in the Sphere for crying out loud. Let's throw it in there and do that. But whatever that was last night was not good. That was not a good watch, man.
No, it's hard, and I feel the same. It's unfortunate. Like MLB has tried to up the ante when it comes to the draft. A lot of it still
the All-Star game. Yeah, that doesn't really work either.
Yeah, it still falls flat in comparison to the NFL draft. The NFL draft is king. There's just so much interest and intrigue about it that it's hard to replicate that.
Yeah. So I don't know. I guess maybe we just compliment them on the summer league. They do a great job with that. So, all right, Buck, this is going to be a game I'm going to call in and out. Okay. Not just because it's a great hamburger spot. What's your order, by the way? What's your in and out order?
I'm normally just a double burger sauce.
Yeah.
Pretty plain.
That's it.
Yeah. Double burger sauce. That's
You're
it.
Good to go. All right. Here's the game. So I'm going to give you some top 5 leaders in different stats, and I'm going to tell you confidence meter. You got to give me the one you're most confident. So this is going to be your in. This player will be in the top 5 again next year, and then the one that maybe you're least confident in that think could be out next year.
Okay,
ready to go?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, we're going to start off with the sack leaders from last year. It was Trey Hendrickson with 17.5, Myles Garrett, Nick Bonito, Kyle Van Noy, Danielle Hunter. So of those, who is your in? Who are you saying is going to be back in the top 5 next year?
Well, that's easy for me. I'm going to say Myles Garrett, regardless of what the Browns look like on offense. He's the brand name, just got a big contract, former defensive player of the year, and he shows up and shows out every time he's on the field. I'm going to take him. Had a nice little getaway with the girlfriend that he missed camp or whatever, but he's back. He's refreshed. He's recharged. I think he's going to kind of be the same player that he's always been, a dominant player.
All right. I would probably go with you on that one. Myles Garrett would be my in terms of the out between Hendrickson, Bonito, Van Noy, Danielle Hunter. Where are you going?
The out, I like friend of the program, Kyle Van Noy, because he's been on NFL Network a ton. Yeah. I don't know if he's a consistent 12 sack guy. So I'm going to go out on him. Maybe he's productive, but not quite as productive as he has been last season. Yeah, so I'm going to go out on him.
Yeah, I would as well. And I love KVN. He's a great dude and a really, really good football player. Okay, let's go rushing yardage leaders. Saquon went over 2,000. Derrick Henry right behind him. Bijan Robinson, Jonathan Taylor, Jahmyr Gibbs. Oof. Who would you say is your in that group?
Ooh, my in would be Jahmyr Gibbs. I think Jahmyr Gibbs comes and does that. I'm confident in him. I think he even gets a heavier workload under John Morton. I just think he's too explosive. And now that we got a little taste, it's going to be hard to remove him from the lineup.
All right, I'm gonna go with the same draft class, but I'm gonna go Bijan Robinson as my in.
Okay.
I do. To me, I think you look at him just getting better and better and better. 1,456 yards. I think he could have like a 1,700-yard season. So I'm gonna go Bijan Robinson as my in. In terms of my out, Buck, I don't feel great about this, and I'm sure it could get thrown back in my face, but I'll say Derrick Henry just because we always say it. Father Time is undefeated. Like at some point in time, there has to be a little bit of decline. Had that first year just explosion with Baltimore. I know they're going to be really good, but they have a lot of weapons in the pass game. I think they'll try and preserve him a little bit. All that matters for them is what goes on in the postseason. Regular success stats they've done that. They've won their MVPs. They've rushed for a zillion yards. They need to play well in the postseason. So maybe they preserve him a little bit. Maybe there's a little bit of drop off after that big year in Baltimore last year.
Okay, so you talked about Derrick Henry coming out because he almost gained 2,000. I'm gonna say Saquon Barkley comes out a little bit. I think it's just hard to replicate the kind of success that he had a season ago, over 2,000 yards, the way that he did it in Philadelphia. I'm saying he just comes back to the pack a little bit. Doesn't mean that he doesn't get over 1,000 yards, doesn't get over 1,200 yards. I just don't know if he can put up that number, that 2,000 yard spot. I don't see that coming. I don't see a back-to-back 2,000 yard season.
Yeah. Look, it's hard to do, man. Usually there's a little wear and tear there as well. Receiving yardage, you've got Jamar Chase over 1,700. Then you've got Justin Jefferson, his college teammate, 1,533. Brian Thomas Jr. How about all three of those guys, LSU guys? Followed by Drake London and Amon-Ra St. Brown. So Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, BTJ, Drake London, Amon-Ra. Who you going as your in?
Oh, Justin Jefferson. I bank on him all day, every day, just because of the crash.
New quarterback? You don't care? You're good?
No, I think they feed the pig. All the guys. If you told me Jordan Addison or whatever, I think Justin Jefferson continues to find a way to be productive. So I'm going with him being able to do it.
All right. I like that one. In terms of receiving yardage leaders, I will go Jamar Chase again. I just think he's as good as it gets. And I think he's got such a rapport with his quarterback there. So I think Burrow and Jamar Chase, they do it again. And then I'll say my out. Man, it's hard to do with this list because all these guys, it's hard to say they're not going to be in there. Amon-Ra being at the bottom of it with 1,263 yards, but new coordinator, I think there's an adjustment there. I think it won't be necessarily him coming down as much as I think you'll see some other guys emerge. Who knows? We'll see Garrett Wilson, one of these other guys, try and jump up above him.
Let's go with Drake London. Just because, Michael Penix takes over, maybe the ball heads in a different direction. Hopefully it heads in the direction of Kyle Pitts. His number goes up. Drake London's number comes down a bit. I don't know. It's really, really challenging to figure that out. But of those guys, the other ones are what I call the name brands. It's hard to count those guys out. So I'm going to go Drake London. He gets the short end of the stick.
All right, the last one on our in and out game here. Let's go passing yardage. Joe Burrow over 4,900. Jared Goff 4629, Baker Mayfield, Geno Smith, Sam Darnold. So Burrow, Goff, Mayfield, Geno, Sam Darnold. Who are you saying is back? Who is in?
Oh, Burrow is 100% back.
Yeah.
Like you don't give the money that they gave to those wide receivers and they don't throw it all over the yard. So he is definitely in some capacity. And being honest, Cincinnati's a much better offense when it runs through him.
Yeah, I don't know how you go in any other direction. I would go Burrow as well. And then in terms of the out, I mean, just TBD, Geno in Vegas, So I would say I would go Geno as my out there. Sam Darnold's in a new spot as well. So you got two quarterbacks at the top 5 here in yardage that are going to be in new homes. So who would you say is your out?
Sam Darnold, to me, just new situation, new quarterback. New coordinator, all those other things. I worry about him being able to put up the same kind of numbers. And to be frank, I think they may try and run the football. I think they want to run the football and control it. Mike McDonald's defensive-minded coach. I can see them running the ball more. So he may not get the same opportunities that he got in Minnesota previously.
Yeah, no, I think that's completely fair. This is kind of a fun one, a little in and out game there. One of the other stats, just going through all these different numbers that kind of blew me away, and that I actually think is going to be even better next year. If you look at the yards after the catch last year, it was Jamar Chase 1, Achane was 2, Khalil Shakir was 3rd, Brock Bowers 4th, Jahmyr Gibbs 5th. Brock Bowers had 597 yards after the catch last year. That's a ton of yards. And now you get in a situation with a stable quarterback with Geno Smith. Brock Bowers is going to have a monster year.
How does it even happen where your tight end is the one just racking up the
guy?
That doesn't even make sense for your tight end to be able to.
But if you think about, if just looking at it, right, guys that can, you got Achane in there as a back, but then Shakir can work in the slot. Jahmyr Gibbs, like these run after catch guys are matchup guys. Like you're getting backs or slot receivers in very favorable matchups, short, easy throws, and they're being covered by someone who's not as athletically gifted as they are. So that's where I think you see some of that run after catch. Whereas we used to think, oh, that's out to the perimeter run after catch. Now it's like, who's going to get on a linebacker and a safety and do their damage that way?
Yeah, it's just a different game. But you have a veteran quarterback like Geno Smith who's going to put the ball in his hands. Don't make it complicated, man. Give the ball to your best players and let them go to work.
Man, no doubt. Buck, what's on the high school calendar right now? You guys in your dead period?
We will be on Friday. They get like a little week off. They'll get to chill, come back for a couple weeks, take another week off, and then
it's go time.
Yeah, July 28th. It'll be here before you know it.
Yeah, looking forward to that. All right, this is a fun one today. Had a little fun with the NBA draft as well as a little in and out game. Hope you guys enjoyed that. We will be back next week. I've got I'll have some more college stuff for you next week. I finished and wrote up Garrett Nussmeier from LSU. So we'll touch on that one. I've got a couple more quarterbacks over the summer that I'll be peeking at, including Sellers from South Carolina, Klubnik from Clemson, and then this guy Arch Manning. I don't know if you ever heard of him. So
maybe I might have heard of him.
Doing a little homework. So we'll have those discussions next week. Appreciate you guys. We'll see you next time right here on Move the Stick.